The eyes to the right, 202. The nose, order. The eyes to the right, 202. The nose to the left, 432. So the nose have it, the nose have it. Unlock!
Hi, welcome to this video day. It is the 20th of January. We're just going to give our updated outlook for the British pound. We're going to be looking at GBP NZD, GBP USD, Euro GBP, and a lesser looked at pair, which is GBP ZAR. Now, in terms of the British pound, we think it is getting ready for a really big move to the upside. I think we said that in our last couple of weekly forecasts. It's made some headway against certain currencies. It hasn't really moved much on others. But I think, in terms of upside against risk, the pound looks really good from a long-term perspective. I'll obviously explain my logic when we get to the charts. Now, I also want to discuss a little bit about trading high-impact news events, okay? In terms of, I just showed one on the way in there, which was obviously Theresa May's Brexit proposal getting heavily defeated in Parliament. Now, very often with those sorts of news events, they will give you fantastic trades, short-term trades, swing trades. Okay, so I'll just discuss swing trading news when we're doing the pound, and also the longer-term potential for the GBP. And what we will do now is go to the charts. Just do please keep in mind it is my view as of this moment in time. It can change in line with the market conditions. If you want all our trading techniques and our daily technical analysis of 14 major Forex pairs, you can get live access on the link beneath this video for a limited period. Right, let's go and look at the charts. I'm going to start with GBP NZD. Right, on the GBP NZD weekly chart, just very quickly before we get to the daily chart now. In terms of ourselves, we're trading the GBP long against four currencies. And this is probably my favourite. Well, it is my favourite. I've got the biggest weighting on it. And I like this pair. It's nice and volatile. And looking really longer term, I've said it in the weekly forecast, to get 1,000 pips or more out of this pair. We have banked out 350 pips already, and we've got an open trade running, which is profitable. So I think the major part of this move is to come, though. Okay. Now, in terms of the weekly chart, you get to see the big picture. If the weekly levels back up the daily levels, then that makes the daily levels more significant. Now, what we can see on this chart, just very quickly, come down here, Brexit comes into play, big tumble. Then the pound actually does make a recovery. It's just generally trading the upside, but sideways. Get up here, then we fall heavily. Now, this fall here, I'll discuss it in a moment when we get to the day chart, is more to do with NZD strength and GBP weakness. And it's not going to happen again, or that factor that brought prices down is out the equation, okay? And the pound bounces back a bit. Now, in terms of, if you look at the chart, if you go to this candle here, it'll cut across those two candles there. And that was the aim at the Brexit candle, which couldn't get further up, okay? I think this is a good target to aim for. Now, in terms of support, after working its way lower, okay, this is the level which needed to be broken, which has just given way. So 190. And in terms of this weekly candle, that tail, and I'll discuss this why this is significant in a moment, doesn't take out that tail. So I can draw a trajectory in there and get it straight. Sorry, I can never get these ones straight. There we go. So I think you've got support on that body and that body there. So in that zone, okay? So above 190, I think we're going up, towards this level, okay? So it's about 1,000 pips if it comes to fruition. I'm going to go through the reasons why on the daily chart, and also the big fundamentals and sentiment behind the chart, which are obviously very important in this pair. So let's shift over to the daily chart. Right, just on the daily chart, draw some levels in a moment, discuss the price action, but let's look at the fundamentals and sentiment. Now, In terms, point number one, the interest rate outlook favours the GBP. It does. If there wasn't Brexit, uncertainty around, Bank of England would probably raise rates. New Zealand, nowhere near raising rates. UK economy, it's had little impact, or the UK, little impact from Brexit since the UK voted out. And you can see it whenever economists are talking about the UK economy. When the data comes in above forecast, they say it's despite Brexit. Okay, and if it's a little bit worse, they'll say, oh, Brexit had an impact. Brexit has very little impact on the UK economy at all. The UK economy has done better than most economists' forecasts and way above what the Bank of England thought it was going to do. UK economy in pretty good shape. New Zealand economy, yeah, I've mentioned this in our weekly forecast. They're exposed to China. China's slowing up quickly. Okay, that's a real problem for New Zealand and also Australia, actually. Also, we favour risk off. Okay, we think risk off is going to come back in the markets. That favours the GBP over the NZD. It's seen as a safer currency. And a Brexit deal more likely than a no deal. And you can look it up online. You can look at bookies odds. Yeah, a deal is more likely. There's so many different variables in terms of Brexit, but my own view is you've obviously got Parliament resisting May. So what will happen? Will the EU just give some bit more in terms of concessions to help the deal go through? I think that's possible. The EU very often say there's, we're not going to do any more, we're not going to change our mind. But you look at their negotiations, like with Greece, for example, or with Italy, they will change their mind. I think they want to get, well, I know that they want to get the deal through. If you look at Europe, it's got big problems economically at the moment. Economy slowing up. The EU want a deal as much as the UK, and I think a deal will be done. I think most, if you look at people who really study Brexit, the chances of a no deal, a hard Brexit, are receding. Of course, it could happen, but I don't think so. Now, in terms of the value of the pound, this is just generally, okay? Based on the real effective exchange rate of a currency's value against the trade partners, currencies adjusted for inflation. If you take the pound against all the majors, sterling is 6% below its 5-year average and 14% below its 20-year average. So it's very undervalued. Okay. Now, in the options market, where the risk of sterling of falling is seen at its lowest in over 7 months. That's option pricing according to 1 month reversals. Now, in terms of the pound, we came interested in it when it came down here. We actually tried a long position there, got stopped out, got in long. We got about 350 in terms of pips in profit. Then we came out, and then we came back in here. We got above the 20-day moving average. Now, in terms of the UK Parliament vote, on May's Brexit proposal. This candle here, mentioned obviously in the Member Centre, also in the Facebook page. This candle here is a screaming buy. Why? Because the market sold off into the vote, okay? And then when the vote came out, we immediately rebound above the 20-day moving average. Now, what happened was basically the funds sold hard down, brought the speculators in to go short, then took it back up, and it closed above the 20-day moving average. So you've got an exhaustion of selling, okay? Now, I would never just trade straight after the news event. I just have a level where I'd want to come in. And, from our perspective, we already had a position in. I wanted to double up if we came back above the 20. So that's what we did. And you very often get that, the market really bearish on the vote, okay? So looking for the bearish scenario. The bearish scenario comes actually a little bit more bearish than the forecast. I think it was 200. She was going to lose by 200 votes or whatever. She lost by more. It doesn't really matter. A few more extra votes, she's lost. So it comes back up again. So that's a good buy. So this is where you could swing trade. So I've already got, let's say, a long-term position in. Drop another one in, and she's going to move up 400 pips to the top of that candle. Okay. Now, what I would normally do is basically take out 50% once I've got enough on that trade. So for me, it was 300 pips, not 400 pips. Out it comes. I've still got one trade left in, and I can up exposure again. I love trading news events because you can get a result pretty quickly. Yeah, you're either going to be right or you're going to be wrong. So, yeah, it's better than waiting 2 weeks for a trade to come right or wrong. Okay. Now, in terms of the support level, we've already seen it on the weekly chart. It's there. So we've got 190. We did have some red on Friday. Let me just draw a quick trajectory. Okay, so basically you got support, I think, well, very solid support at 190. Okay, so if she comes back towards 90, you key off that level if you weren't in, or just wait for a breakout above that double top. If you're putting your stop behind the 190 level, at the moment mine is 188.60, so I'm giving it one big round number to get through 190, and then another one to grab my stop, because you very often get that, don't you? You'll come through the level. A lot of people who are long will have their stops just behind the level, take stops, and then go back up again. So always give it a bit of room. If she does break up through here, I'll bring my stop up tighter. Okay, so I'd say that for fresh positions as well, be something like 189.30, I think would be good enough as a stop. And then you're looking for a really good move up. Okay, so if you look at the risk against the reward, it's pretty good. I think we'll definitely get to 2, okay, but I think also we've got up to like 204. I think it's 204.60. So this pair just really like the look of it. It's fast moving as well. Okay, so you're not talking, a few pips. I mean, that's 300 on that UK Parliament vote candle alone. So you've got nice volatility, and that's why I really like this one. Okay, and also my sort of view of what's going on behind the chart just favours the GBP. Right, let's go and have a look at some other GBP pairs. So I'm just going to use the charts from Member Set. I'm going to do these a little bit quicker because we've gone through most of the background doing this one. So let's go and take a look at the other setups. We'll look at GBP USD first. I'm just going to use charts from Member Center for the last 3 pairs, and we'll go to GBP USD first of all. So let's just find GBP USD. And here we are. I'm just going to make this chart a bit bigger. So, right, that should be big enough. Okay, so in terms of GBP USD, we have been trading it long since we bottomed out here. In terms of our last trade that we did before this open one, it was a loser. Okay, and in terms of this pair, okay, it's obviously got a similar tail here to one on GBP NZD. I actually got caught on that tail. Okay, I had my long position in. I took some off the table to reduce exposure, and I put my stop back here behind these 2 bodies and that tail there. I thought they could be targeted, but didn't see it spiking down as far as it did. It caught me, immediately rebounded, just come back in long at 128.30. We move up to 130, and then obviously came off the level. Now, in terms of this position, I've got the stop at 27.80. Okay, so I'm leaving it well back. Okay, because I expected this zone to be tested. Now, I did do these charts in the morning on Friday, and just to show you what happened towards the end of the day, she came back. This now should be a level that will hold. Okay, now you could always, like when she bounced up to 130, 170 pips, you could take off half if you wanted. In this pair, I've got such a small allocation that I didn't bother. I just left the full position in. Now, in terms of the GBP against the USD, you can see my target is not as big as on the Kiwi, against the Kiwi. I'm only really looking for another few hundred pips to the upside. And the reason for that is I think, the USD, it's a stronger currency than the Kiwi. Okay, and the US dollar has had a little bit of weakness across the board. It hasn't been that firm recently. I just don't feel it's got too much more weakness. This is really a small swing trade. It's the 1 out of 4, which didn't work out for us on the Parliament vote, getting caught by that tail, which I always hate. I thought I must stop far enough back. Anyway, let's move to the next chart, which is sorry, let me just get it. I have to reduce my size of chart to go to the crosses. Where's the crosses? I'm going to look at Euro GBP. Okay, so in terms of Euro GBP, let me make the chart a bit bigger again. There we go. So in terms of Euro GBP, it is a messy chart, but you can see this tail here going for that tail over there, and that tail went for it again. Yeah, sort of tail's trying to get higher, but it just couldn't get up towards that 91 level, so we sold it at 89.90, and eventually it reverses here. Nice big red. Then she's off the downside, a bit oversold and coming back a bit on Friday. Again, if you wanted to, you could take, and in this one I took 50% off the table because it's about 87. What are we? 70. So we're in at 89.90. So well over 200 pips, and half in the bank, and then we'll look possibly to sell back into this double zone here, put our bank trade back in, but going far lower. Euro zone economy has got big problems. So pound undervalued. I know it's a messy chart, but I think if you look at the fundamentals behind the chart, points to more GBP strength. And on Friday, what did we do into the close? So we look on the chart. You can see it there. The candle still pretty firm, but not too much change from the open. But a little bit oversold in the short term. I think rallies are selling opportunities. Let's go and look at the last pair, which is probably one that not a lot of people look at, which is GBP ZAR. Let me just reduce it so I get my menu. GBP ZAR, where have I put that? Sorry, I forgot where I put it. Okay, here's GBP ZAR. And why have I picked this one out? I put this one on the Facebook page, actually, which you can join on the link beneath this video if you want. I just thought this looked a really good risk to reward buy. There is the candle on the UK Parliament vote, okay? And I just didn't think this level would get taken out. It's 17.50. It's also a weekly level if you look at the weekly chart. So I just selected to buy it back through this body here, okay? And she's come up a bit. And, this is a volatile, fast-moving pair as well, okay? And I view the ZAR, if you took the ZAR just generally against other majors, just severely overvalued and the pound undervalued. So I'm really bullish of this one for a move up. And I think, we've got good support on this body here. Okay, I don't see too much weakness. If we get through there, we should run to there and possibly even to there. And I'm looking for risk off as well. So basically, I think the pound could have a really nice move to the upside. So in terms of the pound, I just feel, you have got a lot of volatility, okay? But I think the odds, for the pound going up from here are very good. And, obviously I've been saying as we go through the video, when you've got enough, I normally consider enough plus 200 pips or sometimes 300 pips, depending on what pair it is. If I'm after a long-term trend, I still will just bank some out. Then I've got the facility to put it back in, and you reduce, obviously, your exposure. And you've got a nice profit if it runs on. Well, you're still in anyway. if it comes back, which it very often does, you've reduced your risk and you've got the opportunity to get in at a better price. So in terms of the British pound, they're the pairs that I've been focused on recently, and yeah, so far we've done okay. Looking, to keep trading the pound from the long side. Okay, I might change my mix of pairs, of course, but they're the ones that I've been doing, and GBP NZD, I think, yeah, from my perspective, is my favourite. So it's got the biggest allocation. Right, that is the video for today. Thank you very much for watching me as usual. Take care. Have a good day.